morning everyone, and welcome back to part 2 of the video of the assembly of the front suspension on the driver's side of the Gentry. As you can see from yesterday, I've now put on the lower wishbone, which was just a case of putting it in position and putting 2 bolts through the actual mounts, which, if you remember, I left slightly loose so that I could angle them. And there you can see, hopefully, how the whole lot is at a slight angle going that way to give you caster angle. So hopefully that's showing it quite well. And now I've tightened up the nut either end of the mounts, so they're now nice and tight, but all this lot is still reasonably loose, so that when I set it on the deck with the wheels on, it should find its own level and not get down. Sorry, there goes the tractors again. We get this all day long at the moment. Yeah, so next thing is to put on that lot over there, which I've sprayed a few minutes ago. I'm waiting for that to dry, which is the upright to go in here. So that will contain the top joint and the bottom joint, which are called trunnions, by the way. Top is upper trunnion, lower trunnion, and then the spigot coming out for the axle, the stub axle, to mount the hub, caliper and disc axle. So that really is what the job is going to be done today, this afternoon. And on the floor here I've got the hub, which I've now sprayed silver. It was red yesterday, but I sprayed that silver because I thought with the wheel here sitting behind it, that would tend to blend in better, because it's going to have chrome wire wheels. Rather than being red, I think the hub would look better silver. So I've sprayed that silver, and I'm now ready to mount the disc, bolt that on with 4 bolts onto the hub. So while that paint is still drying, that's the job I can do. Okay, so let's mount them on the tripod and I can go ahead and do that. So I'll see you in a minute. Right, hello again. Slight problem there. I thought I had pressed the record button and I hadn't. So remounting that onto the hub, you missed. But as you can see, it's now mounted on, and really it was just a case of placing the disc on the hub and putting the 4 bolts in, which is no big deal. What I will show you is that if you look at those nuts, the bolts, you can see there's a little cross on them, and that signifies that they are graded bolts, high tensile graded bolts, for the mounting to the hub. They were not supplied in the kit, so I've just cleaned them up, coated them, and then mounted them. I've given the disc a clean, so that's now ready to go. So the next job is to mount the upright along with the top and bottom trunnions, and then hopefully I should be able to then put the disc on with the hub and the caliper. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'll see you in a minute. Right, okay, so here, excuse me, here is the upright, nicely sprayed, and what I will do is that I know that when I assemble this I'm going to be scratching some of this. It's just can't help it. So I can, as long as it's all covered as much as I can, once it's up there and mounted, I can retouch it. So the first thing I want to do is to put in here the grease nipple, and that grease nipple is for putting grease onto the lower trunnion. And if you look, you can see a hole there, so when you pump grease in, it feeds down and through and into here and back up the threads. So that's what the grease nipple's for. So let's pop that on. So it'll be easier to put on now than when it's installed. One grease nipple. Right, so next thing is probably to mount the top trunnion on here. So the top trunnion is basically a ball joint like that. So that bolts to the suspension from here like that, and this here is like just like a track rod end. It's got a slight taper to it, and that mounts into the top like that. So what I'm going to do is get some copper grease. Very, very small amount. Put on that taper, and what that would do, hopefully, if I ever have to replace that, it's going to come away easier than had I not put it on. So spring washer and a nylon lock nut. So we'll just assemble this lightly. So we'll get the right spanner. Should have done with that one. It's 5/8. Again, that's snagged up now. So what I'll do, I will probably change the camera and put you in a better position so you can see what I'm doing from here on. So bear with me and I'll move the camera. Okay, hopefully you can see me from there, or not see me, but see what I'm doing. As I said to you before, I'm using all new nuts, washers and bolts on this. So okay. So that's the arm now mounted at the top. I've literally just done it hand tight for the moment. So now we've got to do the bottom trunnion. Now the bottom trunnion consists of this brass casting, and you have one either side, left and right hand side, and it's got a thread. And if you can see that, hopefully you can, it's got a thread going right the way down, and you can see those little grooves which have been machined into it there. And what that is that you pack this full of grease in here, There's a debate on the Triumph circles, if you like, of whether you put oil in this or whether you put grease in it. And the consensus of opinion is that you put grease in it. If you look in the Haynes manual, it says grease as well, and that's why you've got a grease nipple, so you can pump grease into it. And this one has got an ordinary right hand thread, being on the right hand side of the car, and the other side has got a left hand thread, and you literally screw it on. But first, before we screw it on, we have to pack it with grease. So, and it's straightforward ordinary grease. So you get a dollop of grease and you pop it in here. And you put a lot in. What you want to see is that it coming out, squeezing out of the top as you screw it in. And then before we start screwing it in, we have a rubber grommet over the top. So that goes over there like that, and then you start screwing. And that grease is actually being pumped down into the bottom, and you'll get a whole load of extra grease oozing out of the top, which is what you want. So you keep turning until it stops. Really starting to ooze now. Almost there. Right, now it's stopped. So it's come to the end of its thread. Take that off. And then what you want to do is back off to there. So it was there, and you back off about 3/4 of a turn, and that should do it. So we can now wipe this excess off. In here, either side, so now you have a rotational for the steering, and then here, if I take one side off, you can see that there is a nylon bush with a rubber seal, and you have a end cap one side, and the other side you have also another end cap. So what I'll do is, while this is off, I've just taken it off, I've already greased these. I'll just put an extra little bit of grease on that, put that end cap on, which goes over the top of the inner one, and then if I take this bolt out, this is where it gets tricky and everything falls apart. is where you need 5 pairs of hands. So what I want to do is hold those two together, because they'll just fall apart, and then grease that area, and then grease the other side, wipe my fingers because they're just covered in grease, and then slide that into position, and all the bolts go in from the front. I'm just going to pop that in like that to hold it. And then I want to try and find a washer. There we go. 2 washers. Perfect. And then a spanner. I think it's 5/8, yeah. And again, I'm only just very lightly, in fact that's probably overdone it. Okay, so those are now mounted. Just wipe the excess grease away again. And there we go. So that is now mounted. I need to tighten these ones up a bit too loose. It's that one and that one. these I can tighten up because they make no difference to the position of the suspension, because it's on a ball joint. That's the part which gives it the position on the suspension, not here. You might think I'm overly doing the cleaning bit, but I'm not. It's much easier to get rid of the excess grease. It's all been greased. It's, you know, all I'm cleaning up is the excess, which is oozing out of places. So I think I can now tighten that up a little, because I only did that when it was on the lap. See how much it needs. Oh, actually that's okay. And there we go. Now that is going to be incredibly stiff at the moment. Yeah. But that will loosen up. I don't know how many times these tractors have been up and down this bloody road today. Unbelievable. Right. So, next stage is to take the masking tape off here, and then we can mount the hub assembly. So okay, so next job, mounting the hub. So I'll go and get the bits and I'll come back to you. Alright, so see you in a minute. Right, hello again and welcome back. So now we're going to start assembling the hub assembly onto this flange here. So this is going to be a little bit difficult because there are just quite a few things to put on all at the same time with 4 bolts, and things will fall and get out of line, so you just have to bear with me. I know this will happen on this. Right, where do we begin? Okay, so let's do a dry assembly first, I think, so I know where everything goes. So this is the steering arm, which goes through here. That gets bolted onto that, and the steering arm has got a crank in it, and the crank goes up to the front, and then we have the adapter plate. I've got to get this right, way round. I think it's that way. Yeah, so it's that way. So this is the adapter plate, which you bolt the those two lugs there, you bolt the caliper to that, so that goes on there like that, and everything has to line up. And then on top of that I have to put a seal over there, no sorry, over there, can't get it off now, there we go. That goes on the back side like that, so I'll then have to put that on and trap it between that, and then I have to put the dust shield on. So this should be fun. Right, so let's see if I can put that on without it falling off. That'll be a big help. Okay. Yeah, so the seal's gone on, that's good. Right, so I now need to fit that. And a nice new shiny dust shield. So the large holes are at the bottom, so that fits like that. And then that fits over there. So can I fit all that together? It says probably not. Let's have a go. If I can get 2 bolts in, that'd be good. That's 1. That's 2. Okay. So the steering arm. Well, that has gone a lot easier than what I thought, to be honest. Well, that's it. I think that should go here. Bear with me, I'll go and check on the Haynes manual and I'll come back to you. Right, I'm just going to have a look, and yes, this dust shield does go in that position. So I've taken it off and I've put it back on again, and it was just as easy, to be honest. No hardship. So now I can bolt this up. There's 3 bolts which go into threads, and 1 which has got a nut, which is the one I'm doing now, which holds the steering arm on. When you've got a nut and a bolt, you tighten the nut, not the bolt. So those two, and then the top two to tighten. And we're getting near completion. Right. The grubber fingerprints off. Excellent. Right. Next thing is the hub. So, let's get my bits out. First thing I need is the seal, which slips over there. It's just a fibre seal, it's not doing anything as such as regards sealing, it's just soaks up any grease getting off onto the brakes. Right. Next bit is the squidgy bit. You squeeze in all the grease. So, put gloves on for this bit. Now it gives you a packet of grease, but you don't want to use it all up on just the bearings. You've got to pack out the cap which goes over the top. So what you need to do is, I'll show you, see the grease on my finger there, you need to get that and squash it in to the rollers. And so it starts oozing out of the rollers like that. Plenty on. Hi guys, well this video has worked out way too long. It's over an hour long. So what I've decided to do is split the video here and then carry it on in part 3. So look out for part 3 coming as well. Okay, so bye for now.